good morning, and welcome to the Kickash Podcast live here on One True Sport and RVD's Twitter. Good morning, good morning. It is Saturday morning. Today is what, the 15th? March is flying by already, and I had to make sure my mic was working because, it wouldn't be me if something wasn't working right the first time. But good morning, good morning. I apologize for the delay. Had to take care of some car stuff. It's always something with cars, man, always something with cars. You take it in to get like a tire change, a wheel change, all that stuff, and then there's something magically wrong with your oil. It's like, okay, all right, of course there is. But good morning, and welcome, my friends. We it wasn't that crazy of a week this week, so that's a fun change, right? I kind of like sometimes the weeks where it doesn't seem, or there wasn't as like quote unquote like big things happening. It still was an eventful week, but it wasn't anything too crazy. So I appreciate that. Sometimes it's fun to just be able to catch up and just see where the storylines, that the natural storylines, just naturally progress. You know what I mean? No crazy like big angles or swerves or anything. Sometimes I just like to see, like, just let it play out, right? And that's kind of what we got this week. Nothing too crazy. Obviously, we'll talk about Smackdown. We may touch a little bit on AEW depending on how the time goes and how the show goes and things like that, because y'all know me, I am one to ramble. But good morning, good morning. I appreciate you guys for jumping in the chat. Good morning, Sean. You are the best, man. I appreciate you. My birthday week has been amazing. It has. So I appreciate that. I will be jumping on my channel, Kickash Podcast, here on YouTube sometime this evening, or like late-ish afternoon, early-ish evening, just because I haven't been on there, God, in at least a week now, and I miss it. So I'm gonna pop on there. Just gonna shoot the shit with you guys. Definitely we'll be talking about AEW on there, which is why I was debating on getting into a lot of it here. Um, but yeah, we will definitely be jumping over there. I appreciate you guys, but thank you so much, Sean. You are a great friend, Sean. I appreciate you, man. Um, but yes, good morning, Eddie. I appreciate you as well. You are, if only 21st birthday. You made me chuckle when I was reading it, when the little countdown was going. And it's so crazy because, like I've said before, that countdown, man, like that 1 minute countdown, the music that goes along with it, it's just not in sync. Like, it doesn't wind down. Like, the music doesn't start to wind down as the numbers get down closer to like start of the show. It just throws me off. So you have to actually pay attention. What up, Matthew? Say, hey, fun fact, I was in Barcelona in the show. No way, dude. No fucking way. How was it? Y'all were amazing. So shout out to you guys. The fans in Barcelona were just amazing. And God, what was it? 6 years? I think they said the first time that they've been in Barcelona, and I think it was 6 years or something like that. Maybe longer. I could be wrong on that, but it had been some time. So how was the show, man? How was it for you? Did you have good seats? Like, what was the atmosphere? I'm sure it was just crazy. And are you going to be there next week? That's cool, man. I appreciate you jumping on this morning though, and jumping in the chat and throwing that out there though. Any other fun facts or any takeaways from the show or anything else that you can think of or anything like that, or just any reactions or anything that we may not have seen on the show? Definitely throw it in the chat there. Good morning, Sai. Good morning, good morning. Oh, almost choked on my coffee there. Happy birthday. That, whatever that was, that you got me, Sai. That's not sticker, but that picture, whatever you posted, man, that cracked me up. Cracked me up. And I think, Sai, I'm pretty certain it was you. Are you a VIP member, Sai, on PW Torch? Because I think you wrote into the Fix after show. Well, not the after show, but the Fix mailbag. And I'm pretty certain I heard. Wait, I gotta go back in here and listen to the whole thing. Because sometimes I'll put it on when I'm like waking up in the morning. So I thought they said Sai UK. But if that was you, man, I was like, oh shit, I know that guy. Matthew, y'all are right. You're right. Y'all definitely deserve a PLE. But you also say the dark match after the show, Cody faces the Miz, and Cody with the jacket of the Miz did the Toreo, aka the Bull. Okay, with the Miz, Ole, and Miz was the and Miz was the Bull. That's tremendous. That's so great. Oh my gosh. And I will say, I was shocked for the Miz TV segment that Cody came out in regular clothes, like no suit, no nothing. I was just shocked. So props to Cody. He actually owns like workout gear clothes. Just kidding. But yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy. Um, yeah, that's a good. And to give credit where credit is due, Miz is so great. Miz deserves his flowers. So shout out to the Miz and everything that he does and how great he is at his role too. Because if you guys think back, what was it, 2002 when he debuted? Was it 2002? Maybe a few years after that, a couple years after that, but I don't think it was much longer after that. He was that guy. He was that obnoxious guy with the mohawk. What like the chicks dig him and all that shit. Like, and to see where he is now, let's see if I can. Chicks like it's just amazing. Like I'm if you would have asked me back then, I would have been like, yeah, no. First, if that dude would ever have became the WWE champion, and or if he would have outlasted the people that he has, right? When you think about it, and the fact that he's had such a successful career. That dude makes millions and millions of dollars, has a beautiful wife, beautiful family, beautiful home. So shout out to him, man. He really put in the work, man. And if you think back in on the real world, right? Like even taking it back before he debuted, like that was his dream. This was his dream to be to be a WWE superstar, right? And to be on the WWE roster. He went through shit. I don't know the specifics, but I remember I don't want to call anyone out, but like I think JBL was one of the guys back in the day who would give Miz shit and like he couldn't change in the locker room and stuff like that. I think it was JBL. I know it was one of the guys back there, like one of the like like locker room leaders, like the legends or whatever. But to kind of I don't know if it's like to make him earn his keep type thing, but it's crazy to think of the trajectory and where he's come from. But I'm gonna pull up a picture because it's just kind of crazy to look at where he started from and where he's at now. He was like a host. And it's crazy too. Like, who would have ever thought when they were doing like that diva search that he would have backed Maurice, man? Just fucking crazy. Like this guy, we could all take lessons from this guy. That's all I'll say. Oh, here's actually a great side by side comparison. This wasn't when he specifically debuted. This was a little bit more into like I think maybe like a year or so into it. But this shows. I know this isn't important, but talking about the Miz, I just got to give the guy his props and just show the comparison, right? So let me show you guys. And this is a YouTube video, so I'm not going to click on the whole thing. Let's see if I can just open the image in a new tab. Yeah, sweet. Look at me learning technology. But yeah, look at this, guys. Look at this. Look at this. Like, I don't want to say before and after, but it's just crazy. Like, the trajectory. I gotta upload the other overlay that I created. But you guys can't see me right now, but that's not important. The important thing is looking at the growth that this man has had. Hold on. On the left was during the Diva Search days when he was hosting that. I think at this point, because that Raw set, I think that looks like 2005, 2006 era overall with the logo and the set itself. So I want to say he probably debuted in 2004, maybe 2003, 2004. I obviously can look it up, but just look at the difference between him on the left and then the current day Miz. Like obviously, as humans we grow, right? But like you can just see even in this still picture the confidence that he has acquired, the assurance in himself that he's acquired, and just the star factor, right? Like I still, man, I would have never put money on this guy on the left ever becoming WWE champion, ever being, I don't want to say the face of WWE, but a good face for WWE, right? Like he's one of the guys that goes out there for the media he when they're like for media, for instance, like TV shows, radio. I don't know if they still do radio, but like talk shows and promoting the company when they're in, like, for instance, like I don't know if he did any media in Barcelona, but like especially when they go to New York, they do like Busted Open, for instance, and all that stuff. And he's always one of the guys who's just a staple. So shout out to him, man. And it's just a reminder too, like if you really want to do some shit, like you could probably do it. So shout out to the Miz, man. Fernando, you say you hate the Miz. But yeah, I'm gonna go through your commentary and we're gonna touch on SmackDown, and then I'll just kind of let you guys direct the show today. It's been an interesting, long but good week. So I am I don't know, man. I'm not really feeling myself today for some reason. But that's why after this I gotta go pick up my car. Well, we gotta go pick up our car and go take care of the maintenance for that. And like I was saying at the beginning of the show, it's just so funny. We literally took it in to get a wheel changed and tires, and something's wrong with the wheel. Okay. But yes, yeah, for sure, man. I'm pretty and because and I went to go back because from Wales, right? Or not Wales. I don't know. It was like it was a specific like city too, and I was like, oh, that's got to be Psy. It's got to be Psy. Yes, Eddie. Thank you for bringing that up. Short and sweet with Cody. I loved it. Getting back to, I sidetracked with the Miz, but getting back to that segment, I love the fact that he came out. I love the fact too that the Miz interrupted his music and tried to take that shine away from the crowd. I love that you guys, Matthew, still did the whoa and still sang along and did all that. But I think that again, like I was saying with the Miz, how good how good he is at what he does. I think that it was needed, right? Like Cody's already been on what 3 shows now since the infamous heel turn. And he's pretty much said that all he can say until Cena comes back and until we get some type of response, rebuttal, clarification, justification, whatever it's going to be from Cena, right? We need more fuel for Cody to go off of. So Cena coming back on Monday it's about damn time, you know what I mean? And for whatever reason, I thought it was going to be last night that he came back. So that kind of sucks, but we will get him back on Monday, it appears. And I am just really interested to see what this version of Cena looks like. Let me know what you guys think too, because I think I'm concerned. I'll just say that, guys, and start with that. I am concerned that, and part of, like, even as I'm about to say this, like I don't think that they would even pull the trigger if they're not going to go full throttle with it, but I am still slightly concerned that he is going to just I don't even say half ass this, but like half turn, in the sense that he did what he did right at Elimination Chamber, almost at the Rumble. He did what he did at the Elimination Chamber. He turned on Cody, whatever. But I'm part of me is just low key concerned that he's gonna come out on Monday with his same music, his same attire, George, same shirts, all that stuff. Maybe not run to the ring. He may walk to the ring. But I wouldn't even put it past him if he still ran to the ring, right? And I think I'm scared that it'll be one of those things where he's just like, oh, Cody, this is above you. Like, you had the opportunity, but you don't understand what's best for business. It's not that I want to go against you or, like I hate the fans or anything like that. Like, I'm still all about hustle, loyalty, respect, blah, blah, blah. But I just got to do what's truly best for business. And if you don't want to do the job, then I'll do it. I'll do what I got to do type thing. But I'm concerned he says that and doesn't fully go in, right? Like, I want this to be full throttle. Like I said, I want him to come out, maybe no jorts, obviously something different than jorts, but it's going to be interesting too because he's not going to wrestle right on Monday. So what he looks like in everyday clothes, I don't even know. Like, he's not going to wear a suit. Like, Rock doesn't even wear a suit. Is he going to come out wearing like a nice dress shirt, maybe some nice slacks? I don't know. Like, is he gonna? I really hope he just ditches the jorts completely. I don't even know what else he would wear, because like you think of John Cena and you think of the jorts, but like I just want him to switch. I just want him to switch everything up, and then that's a low key concern of mine that he's just gonna halfway do this, and then once Mania comes, be like, oh, for instance, like if Cody beats him, oh, Cody, you're the better man. Sorry, raises his hand and moves on with it. I'm just kind of concerned about that. So I just want to put that out there. Let me know what you guys think, if I'm just kind of overthinking things, or if I should have a little bit more faith. But like I said, or I said towards the beginning, I am slightly concerned, but like I said, on the flip side too, part of me is like, yo, they wouldn't even have pulled the trigger on this if they weren't gonna go all in. So I think we will end up getting maybe like 85% of a Hina of a John Cena heel turn. But I don't know, man. And I hope I'm wrong. I could be wrong, and I hope I'm wrong. Where this dude just comes out like, fuck this, fuck everybody, like flips off a baby, like whatever. I just want to just go all in, man. Just fucking go crazy with it. So we'll see. If he doesn't, then I just think it was a waste. And that's why, like, I wasn't quick to say like, oh, it was the best heel turn ever, like, oh, it rivals Hogan's or anything like that. Yes, like on paper, it definitely starts out as number two, right? If it doesn't dethrone Hogan, just on paper, like lining them up, what it means for the company and things like that. But I still think it's too soon to say whether it's going to be bigger and better than Hulk Hogan's heel turn, or if it's going to be equal to that, or what. So I feel like you have to let this one play out, in the sense of it being shocking and something that we never thought we would actually see. And especially at this point, then yeah, of course, like in that regard, that's just saying, like, on paper 100%. But I don't know, like, I was obviously very shocked, but I still don't think we have to let it play out, is kind of where I'm coming from. But we'll see. I'm so hopeful that I'm wrong. Eddie, that is 100% correct. Miz is great at taking an ass whooping, and the way he took that um the Cody, not the Cody Cutter. Oh my god. Why am I blanking on this finisher? Oh my god. Oh my god. What is wrong with me today? Oh my god. What is wrong with me? I am not. We're Crossroads. Jesus Christ. Jesus Christ. What the fuck is wrong with me today? Crossroads. Yes. The way he took that Crossroads, just fucking amazing, man. Fucking amazing. And Fernando, you said it was an excellent SmackDown. I think it was thanks to Matthew and all his people out there, because I think it was a very good show. But I'm not gonna. It was probably above good, but to me, the fans really amplified this one for sure, and especially that Street Profits tag team match. Man, like, I'm just so happy it ended the way it did, and I'll get to that here in a second. But I just want to go through your comments really quick. Yes, Matthew, and they again. The best match of the show was Gunther versus Axiom. Jesus, the Spain crowd was more crazy than the others' matches. Dude. And I love the fact that Axiom, that they brought him out there and he was able to go up against fucking Gunther, man. Like, what a great debut, right? Like, he's not being moved over to the main roster, but what a great first impression on the main roster. And it was the perfect setting too, right? WWE, for instance, like Triple H, Shawn Michaels, they, again, a lot of their booking, a lot of the decisions, the women's division, stuff like that, we could definitely get into and pick apart, which I have a little bit. But the stuff they do right, they do so right, and little things like this really make a big difference to me. Now they'll always have this footage when Axiom, if he gets called up to the main roster as a solo act, which I would kind of be against, not even kind of, I would be against. And more likely, in my opinion, in the, I don't say the right way, because who am I? But the way I would go would be to bring up Fraxium to the main roster, right? Of course, because Nathan Frazier and Axiom are just fucking incredible as a tag team, and they have been toying for months now, the breakup and things like that. So that's why I hope that they don't. I hope they don't pull the trigger. Sorry, my eyes are itchy. I hope they don't pull the trigger on NXT. I hope they let them come to the main roster, do their thing in the tag division, because the main roster needs it as well, right? For the tag division as a whole. And then you can pull the trigger on that. So I'm hoping they hold off on the Fraxium split, because when you do have Axiom debut, and like I was saying, if he does debut and get brought up as a singles act, this would play more into effect. But they'll always have this footage to go back to of Gunther calling him out and just putting forth a hard hitting match, man. Like Gunther, he wasn't out there just running laps. My guy was out there sweating and putting in the work. Like Axiom gave him a run for his money. So props to him, man. But dude, I'm just so happy, man, that Axiom got that moment. And you guys got to see it too, because it's just cool, man. It's cool when stuff like that happens. And again, like he doesn't need to win Axiom, right? It would have been, in my opinion, the wrong call for him to get like a quick fluke win, right? Like a quick roll up or anything like that. So I'm happy they did what they did. It served its purpose. I will say I was surprised to see Gunther on SmackDown as well, because it's just it kind of defeats the purpose when you have two world heavyweight champions. Of course the names are different, but essentially two world heavyweight champions for each brand respectively. But yet each champion just goes on each other's shows. So it's like, okay, like, and yes, we have seen Cody and Gunther interact. They had that match, but it's just like, especially with Cody, like Cody being on Raw the past couple weeks. I don't know, like I get it, especially with the big news about Cena and stuff like that. Like it makes sense, but it just kind of defeats the purpose, man. Like I don't know. And I know it's WrestleMania season. The rules are a bit more laxed regarding the brand splits and stuff, but I don't know. To me, it's just like, okay, like what is Gunther doing here? Fucking happy to see him. Kick ass match. I'm not mad to see him, but when I first saw him, like I think when they showed a clip of him walking backstage, it was just like, is this like a super show? But I'm happy for it. I'm happy it worked out. Kind of sound like a hypocrite, and especially for like people like Matthew who were there. It was a fucking great match. So it's just WWE, man. It's just kind of funny. Oh, Sai, you're right. You are absolutely right, man. You said and when I was talking about the Miz getting shit in the locker room and not being able to change. Sai says the Miz did get shit. It was the guy we don't talk about from Edmonton. Fucking right, dude. You are absolutely right. And if you guys all, I'm sure we all know. I'm not gonna say his name, but everyone knows. And it's just, I'm not gonna get into that, And I've actually thought about doing a little bit more research, because there's a lot of conspiracy theories out there, right? People saying that he didn't actually do it and all that stuff. I think that's full disclosure and full transparency. I am a big, I don't want to say big, but I love me a good conspiracy theory, right? Like I'm that person that'll entertain almost all sides, just because I like to learn, you know what I mean? Like I like to know why. Even if like it's something very obvious, I still like to know why, or like think of the reasoning behind it, or just think of all the avenues for it. That's just it's annoying for my boss and all my bosses, everyone in my life. So trust me, it's not a good thing, but I'm just that person, right? So came across a couple of videos like a few months ago. Like one was like trying to like say it was like a conspiracy and like he was set up or whatever, which I don't believe that. But I did want to do a little bit more research on it, because there was a lot of stuff that I didn't know. Because when it happened in 2006, I was a little bit younger, not terribly young. I could do the math. I think I was like 14, 15, some shit like that. But I didn't really have internet at the time, so I couldn't go like looking up a lot of shit, but there was a lot of stuff that I didn't know. So yeah, thank you for bringing that up, Sai. But yeah, and what I wanted to say too, really quick, it's it's just a shame too, because I mean, a, sh- a shame in the sense of taking away all of the terrible and horrific and just fucking like despicable things that actually happened, in real life. The wrestling side of it and the wrestling career, it's a shame that we can never truly enjoy that and celebrate that. Um, so yeah, it's just fucking crazy, bro. The boss. Good morning. Good morning. You say happy Rusev Day. I mean birthday. Thank you, bro. I appreciate that. Yeah. Like I said earlier, I'm gonna be doing a stream on my channel a little bit later this afternoon, early evening ish. Just kind of shoot the shit with you guys. But I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate you being here. Brandon B, you say JBL is a real a-hole in life behind the TV and backstage. That's what I've heard, man. That's what I've heard. But to be fair too, like his character, I was always one of those, his on-screen character, like the heel JBL, especially when he was a champion. I thought he did a great job. as the champions. I think not even think. I know I'm in the minority with JBL. And like the popularity. I wasn't a fan of his, obviously, but I thought he was very effective as a champion because I remember hating the guts of that guy, man. When he was putting Eddie Guerrero through that shit, going down in Texas and like fucking around with the border and like all that shit. Like, can you imagine them trying to do that shit nowadays? Oh my god, like he would be beheaded somewhere. But do I remember that shit? Like they would air like not like segments on Smackdown where like JBL had drove out to like the border, and I remember this one like in particular. Like he was at the border, had his fucking cowboy hat on. It's not funny, but back out and he said like if he was looking for Eddie, if he was looking for, it was just like the most like not the most, but like one of the like racist shit that they've done. I was just like, what the fuck is he doing, bro? I remember even watching then like, wow, like, and again, just a character. That's not him. It's just what was written, the storyline and stuff like that. But JBL, the human, the real dude, like he's from, and again, like I don't know all of his like I don't know his resume, we'll say, but obviously he has done great in business. So I would like to actually learn a little bit more about his history as well. But I think he has a podcast too. And I heard he does give people his flowers too. And I heard that he has changed and he's like made amends with people like the Miz and stuff like that. So yeah, I don't know. I'm not here to judge or whatever, but just word on the street, right? And that's what I heard too, or that's kind of what I think too. And you say JBL is a good dude. He believes in making the young guys earn though, and not to justify it or anything like that. But he does come from a different generation too. Like he does come from a completely different atmosphere, locker room, mindset. So it's when you think about it, you had like rough fucking dudes like APA, like Undertaker, like all these big dudes in the back, like in behind the scenes and backstage and stuff. And then starting in the early 2000s, you get an influx of people like The Miz, and all them coming in, and especially The Miz being a reality TV dude. It's like, the fuck you doing here? Like, you got to earn your keep. Like, you didn't travel 340 days on the road and stuff like that. So it's just like I don't want to say a weird dynamic because that's not, that's kind of downplaying it, but it's just one of those things where kind of like in life that we're seeing a lot of shit that happened back in the day wasn't right. But we either didn't know about or a blind eye was turned to and stuff like that. So I don't know, man. I'm just happy with how fucked up the world is. At least I'll speak for our country. That some things have changed for the better in that regard. So and a lot of like the mindset behind a lot of sports and locker rooms and the mentality behind things have changed. So I am definitely a fan of that. But good morning, Dr. Ross. Good morning, my friend. Appreciate you popping in. Um Mitt or Shawnee say Miz is Hall of Fame worthy, but not a huge fan anymore. Yeah, man, he's 100% a Hall of Fame worthy, no doubt about that. But I don't mind the Miz, like I'm not gonna say I sit there and just clamor for his matches and his segments, right? But when I hear like Miz TV, for instance, like I'm not like, oh Christ, here we go again, or anything like that. I'm like, oh cool, whatever. And it always serves a purpose too. You know what I mean? Like his segments always do serve a purpose, provide a bridge from one portion of the story to the next. So I do at least enjoy that. But yeah, we'll see. Uh, yeah, Sean, just yeah. Oh, you weren't a fan of it. Oh wow, Sean. Okay, why weren't you a fan of it, man? Oh, I think you followed it. Let me just shut up and read. You said what they did wasn't good. The match was fun, but Axiom is from Spain. He shouldn't be getting that much offense. Good thing. Yeah, I get that, Sean. I get that. But yeah, I get it. I get what you're saying. To me, I don't know, man. Yeah, I guess I could see, especially since Gunther is the one who called him out. It's not even like Axiom got like the upper hand, like surprise factor or anything like that. I get what you're saying, man. I get it. I get it. And yeah, you're right. Definitely should not be kicking out of a power bomb for sure. For sure. So yeah, I'll that's fair. That's very fair. But I just think too that like Gunther has a way with kind of being cocky, and he's borderlining like becoming one of those bad guys where it's like he talks a lot of shit and like he gets shown up. And I hope they don't make him into one of those like Gunther just doesn't even really need to talk that much shit. Like almost like less is more from Gunther, in my opinion. Yeah, Sean, I'm hoping too, man. Brandon, you say John Cena will win the title, then retire after his contract is over. So, Brandon, do you think he's going to hold the title? He's going to win possibly at what, Mania, and then hold the championship until what, the end of this year, and then retire? Like, what's your thoughts, man? What's your thoughts? Yes, Dr. Ross, very good point and fact. At least Gunther is still getting quote unquote clean wins. Yeah, and I don't know. Let me know what you guys think too regarding Jay. I feel like this whole Jay Gunther story has kind of stalled out a bit, and I don't know, man. Like if you had to ask me right now on March 15th, would you put the title on Jay Ashley? I would say I understand why all the stars align and why it makes sense in the moment and everything, but no, I wouldn't. And again, you could very easily put the title on Jay and then have a rematch at Backlash, for instance, and then have Gunther retain or regain the championship or anything like that. But I think like if they're gonna have Jay win, he's probably gonna go at least 3 4 months with it, maybe until SummerSlam, and then potentially a rematch with him and Gunther at SummerSlam. But that feels kind of far out, for it to be a rematch. So I don't know, man. I don't know, but there's just and again, like the fan reaction is fine, but for me, I think I don't know, like I just the past 2 weeks have just kind of been hitting me weird with this story in particular. Boss, you're funny. Miz has a punchable face. Mackenzie Johnson, what up? What up? You say John Cena heel character is gonna go crazy on Monday. And Matthew, if you're still in the chat, let me know what you think too. If you think that the fans are going to just go fucking crazy and like cheer Cena, like in a good way, and like yay John Cena, or if y'all think that he's just gonna get drowned out in booze because the kind of vibe that I got from the Barcelona crowd was that they're going along with the stories, right? And they're not trying to be like that like that anti crowd, right? Or kind of go into business for themselves. They're like kind of going along with what makes sense and what the stories are projecting. So I'm just really and it's really fascinating too that the first time we're gonna hear from Cena is in a different in like a completely different part of the world in a different obviously in a different country, but a different dynamic too, because in my opinion it would be one thing if he was coming back and making this first heel appearance as heel Cena at like a Chicago or even like a Minneapolis or a St. Louis or anything like that, like here in the States. But the fact that they're doing it in Barcelona in a completely different country, different atmosphere, I think it's going to be quite interesting, the reception, because for me too, like it and I hope the fans just boo him out of the building, right? But to me it is kind of dangerous too, because the first sighting of this heel Cena, right? You want to set the stage, and no offense, Matthew, but if Cena comes out in Barcelona and they go crazy for him and cheer him and all this stuff, it's going to, in my opinion, lessen the initial out of the run, like out of the gate type of impact that it could have and that it should have. If you and to be fair, like that could be said for anywhere, right? Like he could be they could be in, like I said, like St. Louis, for instance, on Raw next week. And he could come out and he can get cheered there too, and that's just the I don't say the issue, but the possibility that you run into with a presence as strong as Cena's, right? But and to be fair too, like I said on the initial, like whatever show, probably last week on this show, um, the fact that Cena was able to turn on Cody and Cody has been so strong, like that speaks volumes for Cody, right? So I'm not gonna rehash that, but they are really either trusting of the Barcelona fans and of John Cena, right? The fact that he can go in there and potentially like turn those cheers into boos, right? And to be completely fair too, like if I was over there in Barcelona and it was either my first time seeing Cena or my first time in years seeing Cena, I'd probably want to cheer him too, because it's a big star, it's a big deal of what they're getting. So it's just a interesting like conundrum. But I really think too, because we're getting into the home stretch. We're about a month, yeah, a month and 4 or 5 days from WrestleMania. So Cena needs to kick in gear, man. Like he signed up for what? If that 36 dates thing was like a legit number, start using them, bro. You know what I mean? Like it. I don't know. Like I I respect the fact that he is able to manage so many different careers and stuff. But it's like, okay, bro, like starting Monday, like you need to be in this, man. Like I don't want to just see you Monday and then go 2 more weeks, see you back again, and then like oh one more time. Like I don't want to see you just 3 times between now and WrestleMania. I think that'd be fucking crazy, and that would actually really bother me, you know. Because what's the point? The whole point of a heel Cena is to get as much out of it as you can, and you have less than a year now, so get to it. You know what I mean? Fernando. I love the fact that y'all like that we differ and you guys just put whatever your thoughts are in the chat. This is why I truly love doing this shit because you say JBL's the one of the worst choices for a world champion ever. And I look, man, you ain't wrong. You ain't wrong. And I remember when that shit first happened, I remember thinking like, what the fuck? Like, are you serious? But and again, watching it like as it was happening, I hated him because of just specifically him and Eddie, man. Like what he was doing to Eddie in that match I had at Judgment Day. Like I just hated JBL. So in my opinion, that's why it worked for me because he was just so hated and just so pompous, and I hated the fucking limo. Like I hated him coming out with his warm up jacket, the towel tucked in, but he still wore the fucking cowboy hat. I just hated all of it, and especially when he had that entourage. I remember Jillian. I think that was her name, right? When she had that growth, that shit on her cheek, that boogeyman ended up biting off. What the fuck? When you say like saying this shit out loud is like, what the fuck did we watch? How are we still watching it? How did we get here? Oh man. Yeah, Eddie, you're right there with me. And the stuff with JBL and Eddie was awesome. JBL, okay, JBL is on my top 5 favorite heels of all time. That'd be an interesting show too to pick the top 5. Mm. Yeah, I get you. I totally get it, Fernando. I totally get that, bro. Oh shit, Brandon. Okay. Brandon B, you say, Fernando, you're very right because I was around WWE in 2006 as a stage tech. I seen a lot back. Oh, wow, dude. That's pretty cool, Brandon. That's pretty cool. How long did you do that? Man, and shout out to you, man, because I've always said the unsung heroes of WWE are the production crew and the ring crew and all the guys who put up the staging. Everyone that you see, like when you're at a live show, just tearing down the mats, putting the like just all that stuff, man. It's just amazing. So shout out to all you guys, man. That's really cool though, Brandon. That's really cool. Kind of jealous, man. Like if I ever got into wrestling, I'd want to do stuff like that, like behind the scenes. Like I could never imagine myself like being in the ring, right? Because I hate oddly enough, like I hate being like in front of the camera. Like I hate being like I don't like being the center of attention. You know what I mean? Like I don't want it to be about me. I'll be there and help, but like I don't want it to be about me. But like I'd love to like set up the ring, like just like do like the little odds and ends stuff backstage. Like that's what I would love to do. That'd be dope. Yeah, Eddie. Okay. Okay. You say Ash, I would move Gunther their SmackDown after Mania. And I think that's when they're having the next draft, right? Right after, like, right around after Mania time frame. I wonder if they're going to do that before Backlash or after, because Backlash is in May. So I wonder if they're going to do that after Backlash. To me, it would almost make sense, right? Like, because Backlash is the whole idea and concept of Backlash has always been pretty much like that, the aftermath of Mania, right? Like the Backlash after Mania. So it would make sense to probably do that after Mania, or I'm sorry, after Backlash, especially if they're gonna like run it back, for instance, like a rematch between him and Jay or something like that. McKinsey, okay, you say John Cena should hold the title until the end of the year. Yeah, Eddie, you said I think it was smart not to put Cena on the Raw after. I 100% agree with you, bro. I don't think he should have been on that Raw. I think he maybe should have been on possibly Raw this week. I don't know. And to be fair, like I'm not even saying that, or well, let me backtrack. I 100% agree. Like, I don't even think he should have been on Raw or SmackDown that first week after Elimination Chamber. Maybe this week. But I just, as a whole, like, that's what's kind of frustrating me. It's just that going back to the start of the year, right? We didn't see him at all, the build to the Rumble. We didn't see him at all, the build to the Elimination Chamber. So just the accumulation of everything is what's kind of bothering me. But yeah, like I definitely didn't want to see him the Raw after the Elimination Chamber. So I agree with you there, man. But they gotta you gotta get on. You gotta pull the trigger now, man. Oh, sweet. Okay. Brandon, you said you were from 2004 to 2008? Nice, bro. So, yeah, yeah. I don't know about the dying kids part. Yeah, it's. I mean, it doesn't. It takes a lot to offend me, man. But I just think you don't have to mess with dying kids. You know what I mean? Oh, the boss. You say, how does Ash celebrate 316 Day? Oh, the only way we can, man. Gotta open a couple brewskis, right? And it's funny because some places are celebrating like St. Patty's Day this weekend, and some places are celebrating it next weekend. It's just kind of like I don't know why you wouldn't just celebrate it this weekend leading up to it, but they're piggybacking off of both both weekends, which I am mad at them. But moving on with SmackDown, we did have another big happening on SmackDown, and that was the win finally of the Street Profits. They are the new tag team champions, and I was blown away that it was the first time. Well, not that it was the first time in 4 years because I knew that they've mentioned that, but it was only the second tag team title reign that the Street Profits have had on the main roster, and I was like, what? Like, there's no way, dude. I just that blew my mind. So I'm very happy for them. I'm happy with this new version of them too. Like it was a fantastic match. Just get that out of the way. But I like this new version of the Street Profits, man. I dig the all black. I like they seem like bad guys, but I don't know. Like it's something in me just I don't even I don't feel like they're fully bad guys. I just feel like they're just tired of the shit, and just being more serious good guys. So I don't know what they end up doing with that. Again, I will whenever I mention the Street Profits or Montez Ford, I will always. It's almost like a given at this point, but they have to pull the trigger on. I don't even want to say a heel turn, but a power faction with the Street Profits and Bianca. I don't want it to happen right now, obviously before Mania or any. Like the stars aren't aligning from that, and the stories aren't in play for that right now. But man, like it kills me, man. It kills me because, and even I've said the power couple thing, right, with Montez and Bianca, but I have even said too, like you make a powerful faction between the three of them and have um Hawkins, oh my god, yeah, Hawkins just fucking be there and be like the power and the force, and just have Montez be, I don't want to say the face of it, but him and Bianca kind of be like the flashy part of it, and then you can get to an eventual turn if you need to in that regard. But I just think, man, like there's just a vibe and a like stardom that they emit, and I just part of me like it bothers me that they've taken so long to pull the trigger on it, but part of me is like, okay, like I'm happy they have it because we still have that in our back pocket. And if and hopefully when that day does come, I think Montez is just gonna fucking kill it. And I think he's gonna be a main event guy. I think potentially a world heavyweight championship. And I know it may sound crazy, but the dude is just fucking money, man. Like, and having Bianca right there too, like just talk about a power couple. Like that's what I envision, man. Like the way Triple H and Stephanie used to run it back in the day. I think there's just so many popularities, possibilities that you can have with it. You can maybe even form like a corporation type faction. Like you can just do so much with it, man. So much. And I hope we eventually get that. But the match that they had last night was just amazing. And the fans, again, shout out to you guys, just really added to it. But it was time. It was long overdue, and I saw somewhere someone was like, "Watch, Pretty Deadly beats them in like 3 weeks to win the championship." And if that happens, I would I wouldn't be irate because whatever. But I would think it's a very very bad move, and like, what are we doing? And if that happens, then you really need to make a sharp turn in their character presentation because that would just ridiculous. Not that Pretty Deadly beats them, but that short time frame. So I don't think that's gonna happen though. I think the Street Profits are gonna hold the championships until WrestleMania at least. I hope they get a spotlight match at Mania too. Is that gonna be Penta and Ray Phoenix? Because we did see two trailers, two little not spoilers, but two little like promo-ish type packages where one was obviously Ray Phoenix and then one appears to be Aleister Black. So there have been conflicting reports that I've seen that Phoenix is going to come in and tag with his brother Penta, which makes the most sense, right? But I think too that you could really make a case for having them be separate and having Phoenix come in because it did air on SmackDown, right? And Penta is on Raw. So you can have Phoenix come in, debut on SmackDown, do his own thing, and then if the draft happens right after, like we'll say, just right after Backlash, give it a month and almost 2 months, then at that point it'd be over 2 months, if depending on when he debuts. But you can have them end up on the same roster and then they can team that way. There's just a lot you can do. But I have been a fan of Penta's singles run so far. I mean, yes, he hasn't like taken over or anything like that, but I think he's migrated and really meshed with the WWE style very well. And the presentation has been spot on. So I think it's just a matter of what they need right now in the short term and what they want to do with them long term as well. Because I mean, can you imagine like a Street Profits match versus Penta and Ray Phoenix at Mania? I just think that would be just so amazing to see. I think I don't want to say a dream match, right? But it would just be that's where I'd put my money. And if you're gonna have like a multi-team match, I guess you can do that, or and add like the machine guns in there, but in DIY like a four-way. I think that's too much. Like I'm not a fan of those like multi-man tag matches. I think just do a straight up tag team match for the tag team titles and go from there. So we'll see about that, man. But yes, thank you, Sly, for bringing that up. You say your SmackDown highlight was Drew's promo. He connected the dots on a bunch of Damian Priest spots and made it look like they've been booking a 12-month angle. Yeah, dude. Yes, and the beatdown that he gave to Damian Priest was just on point too, man. Drew is one of those frustrating ones for me because he is so good at what he does. It's you agree with him, man, and like everything that he says makes sense. Of course, it's one of those where it makes sense, and like you're mad at him for it making sense, and just the way he says it, right? But bro, like it's man, like I kind of wish that we could figure out a way to get Drew the heavyweight championship again because, and especially if Gunther ends up, if we just do like a swap, right? If Gunther goes to SmackDown and Cody goes to Raw, championship wise, I think that would be a good play too, right? Obviously with the Netflix aspect of it and things like that. But I just think, man, like a quick little feud between Gunther and McIntyre again, even if it's not good, and most likely wouldn't even be Gunther, most likely be Jay. So that'd be a great way to run that back. And you can have Drew be the one to defeat Jay and go from there. There's just Drew is just too hot and just cooking on too many cylinders, right? To be stalling out on a man. And I know you can say that about a lot. Like you can say, well, Punk should be the champion, or you can even make a case for Rollins being the champion, or you have Roman Reigns out there, like there's just so many different possibilities where it's like I've heard it before and I've said it before, but you have an embarrassment of riches at the top at the main event scene. So man, I'm just happy Drew's making his money, bro. But thank you for bringing that up, man. He 100% like just killed that segment, and Damian Priest too, man. I've I've become a big fan of Damian Priest. I've gained a lot more respect for him. I've mentioned it before, like I'll never forget like going to this one Ring of Honor show. How was it 2016, 20, I forget the year, 2016, 2018, something like that. Maybe even earlier, but it was I never forget, I can't remember the show, but it was a Ring of Honor show, and I remember seeing Punishment Martinez come out, and I was just like, yo, this guy is a fucking unit, man. He's gonna be someone big one day, dude. Like he's gonna be in WWE one day. And again, you could say a lot. You could say that for a lot of the talents, right? But I just remember him just having like this presence about him and just like take no shit type of vibe. And seeing where he is now, like I'm super fucking pumped for him. And it does. Like it the way Drew spoke, it really makes you feel like it's all started at WrestleMania last year, which it technically did, you know? And this is where their roads, no pun intended, were destined to meet up. So he's so good at what he does. He being Drew, man. Yeah, Sean, that Charlotte BFAB match was not all of that. Not all that. But yeah. I was hopeful though. And to be fair, like it wasn't a good match, right? But it needed to happen. That's the only way wrestlers are going to get reps. That's the only way they're going to get exposure. That's the only way you can get better at your craft is by practicing and going through the motions, you know? So I think, and to be fair, like if it was, this match was last year, I think it would have been much worse, you know? So I think there's definitely been improvement, but I didn't hate it. I'll say that, but it didn't really do that much, you know? But in my opinion, it had to happen. So we know where to go. You know what I mean? But let me know what you guys think too of Aleister Black coming in potential, not even potentially, but only a matter of time. Do you think he's going to debut before Mania? Because that's why I was actually kind of surprised to see the vignettes for him and for Phoenix. Phoenix made possibly a little bit more sense, or more sense, especially if they're going to do the tag team route with him and Penta. But Alistair, I kind of felt like they were going to hold off until after Mania because I don't want to see them rush anything for WrestleMania for Alistair unless, and clearly they're not going to have him involved with like Judgment Day or anything like that, like the Dark Arts or anything like that if they're running it on SmackDown. So it's almost like if he came back before Mania, he would get lost in the shuffle unless they had something specific. But even then, man, like I don't see anything obvious unless I'm missing something that would be an easy like route to throw him in at. So I would, unless they're gonna like show these vignettes until like after Mania, because my opinion, like the best way to bring him back is that Raw after Mania, bro. Like you remember when like the height and the peak of the popularity of the Raw after Manias was the surprise factor too, mainly, right? The surprise factor and the impacts of the new stories going forward. So I think that'll be just a kick-ass way to debut Alistair. Even if you eat shit, that could be I don't want to do that. I was gonna say that'd be a good first opponent for Jay. But I don't want to see Alistair come back, challenge for the title, and then lose. But man, just can you imagine Cena and Aleister Black, bro? Like, what the fuck? But yeah, I don't even know where you would slide him in at right now, but hold him until the Raw after Mania and then go from there, bro. And I just can't wait to see that interest again because I have a video of it too. I'll post from NXT Brooklyn, and you can't really get a good. It's not the best because I was kind of like I was far not far back, but I was in the arena where you were looking like straight ahead at the screens, and then the ring was right in front of you. So Alistair's coffin thing would be on the front right. But man, just the whole coffin setup, like when he starts laying down, and then the creaking, and it brings him up, and then the music, it's just fucking incredible, man. It's just incredible. Um, but yes, Sean, thank you for bringing up Charlotte and you guys talking about Charlotte. Charlotte Charlotte's an interesting one because I have stood on, well, not stood on the hill, but I've kind of stood halfway up the hill giving Charlotte her props and stuff like that. But it just really does feel, for whatever reason, man, like especially this time, like she like it's all about her, you know. And I I'm 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 actually surprised that I'm not as excited for this WrestleMania match between Charlotte and Tiffany as I am, because when Tiffany, like when she first came on the main roster, like when we were all like hype after the Elimination Chamber last year, and when she won the briefcase, like all these possibilities were like, oh, she's gonna do this, you know, her and Charlotte eventually, and all this stuff. But it's just Charlotte just has a way, and it really hit me on this return, just coming in and just really soaking up all of the energy in the segment. And it's not even a bad, well, I'm not gonna say it's not a bad thing, it could be bad, but in the sense that she's not like Tiffany. Tiffany just isn't getting as much as she should right now. And I will be fair though, because I thought the brawl that they had last night was good. Um, but I just feel like that's kind of like a cop out, right? Like people are always gonna get excited about a brawl. I don't know. Like I'm still trying to hold out hope. I think they're gonna have a fine match at WrestleMania. But if she beats Tiffany, man, like I may throw up my hands on Charlotte. But I'm still trying to not be a Charlotte hater or anything like that. But man, like you're right, Sean. It is getting to be the same old stuff. But I don't know, man. I don't know. She's kind of getting, not even kind of, like to me she's in that Roman Reigns plane where it's like she's kind of being shoved down our throats, you know what I mean? Like the big dog type of vibe. And I ain't about it. I ain't about it. Yeah, I will definitely check that out. Sean said Wade show was last night was fun. Please check it out. Yeah. If you guys don't know who Wade is, which I know all you guys know by now, Wade Keller at PW Torch. He does a YouTube show, post show for Raw, SmackDown, and AEW on YouTube. Now he used to have like a call-in show, but he's been doing it on YouTube for a few months now. It's really cool. So check that out if you guys have not, and subscribe, all that good stuff. And Sean is a frequent guest over there. I don't know when he's gonna get you to co-host, man. He's gonna pull the trigger and get you to co-host. But Sean has his own, or don't I thought you have your own theme, Sean? Right? You're like, I know I've heard it. That Tennessee, I know I've heard it, man. But he never plays it for you. I think that's what it is. He never plays your theme. um, but yeah, man, definitely check that out. But guys, we will be winding down here. I'm going to save the AEW portion for my show that I'm going to do this afternoon over on Kick Ash Podcast. Trust me, people have a lot to get into for that, because I just think the whole Death Rider thing is just a crock of shit at this point, and I need to go back and finish the last portion. I had like 20 minutes left of Dynamite that I had to finish, but I remember literally when I was watching it, I was like, I was about to turn it off. I was like, what's even the main event? I had no idea what the main event was. I could not. If you put a gun to my head and said, what's the main event of Dynamite tonight, I would not be here anymore, because I had no idea. So we're gonna get into all that later this afternoon. It's not a cheap plug. But I will post a time, or like a quote or an idea of a time frame over on Twitter. So you can follow me on Twitter at kickashpodcast_. You can follow me personally at ASHMANNS. My show here on YouTube is Kickash Podcast. Feel free to subscribe over there if you'd like as well. We have cracked the 500 subscriber count, and we have met all of our qualifications to be a YouTube partner, which is pretty cool. I was not I figured maybe eventually one day it would happen, but I didn't expect it to happen so soon at the start of this year. So I was pretty stoked about that, and am pretty stoked. So that'll be my first stream since being a little YouTube partner, my little channel, here on the tube. So it'll be fun to do that. So feel free to join me over there. Like I said, I'll post a time frame, probably like 4, 5, 6-ish time frame. We'll see though. We'll see how the day or maybe even a little bit earlier. We'll see how the day plans out. I'm terrible at planning shit, guys. I'm very like, all right, fuck it, I have time now, let's do it. So it's not a cheap plug. That's why I say to like follow the shit if you want, because when I know, you guys will know. So that's that. But I appreciate you guys so much for joining me here today. I know it was a little delayed, but we are getting better with that. And today it was on me. I had to, like I said, deal with some car stuff, and you know, it's just funny, man. And some guys think that they can get over on some females, like some auto and car guys think that they can get over on females, and just like, oh yeah, and it's just like, bro, like I was born on a day, And it may have been this past week, but it wasn't. That wasn't my day of birth specifically. I've been on this planet for many, many years now. I've taken many trips around the sun, so you gotta make it make sense to me, man. I don't know a lot, but I know enough. What's that saying? I don't know a lot, but I know enough to be dangerous. But yeah, guys, I truly appreciate you all. Like I said, feel free to join me this afternoon, but if not, I will be here next weekend. Let me check the date. Yes. So, yes, I will be here next weekend. I'm not sure about the following week after that. I think on the 29th is when I will not be able to do a Saturday morning show, but we will see. TBD on that, but I will definitely be here live next week, next Saturday morning. So feel free, and I hope to see you guys back though. Even, of course, if you haven't, which I'm pretty certain all you guys have. If you haven't subscribed here at One True Sport, I don't know what you're waiting on. That's most important to be subscribed here and turn on notifications. There are so many shows that come out on this channel. It's insane. So between that and subscribing to Brasswing Media as well, the guys still throw up videos over there and clips of the show and like little synopsis and things like that. So if you don't like to digest the full show, they break it down and into kind of like little clips over there as well. So check all that out as well. But thank you, Sean. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And all of your support too. You, Sai, yeah, and monetization is pretty cool, man. I appreciate it so much. But until next time, guys, and until this afternoon, if you guys join me over there, thank you so much. I truly appreciate you all. Have a great weekend and stay safe out there, guys. Enjoy some wrestling. Take care.